Welcome, everybody. Episode 2
Hello.
of the, not the, don't ever say it's Middle Way Podcast. I'm Brant Bender. Shit, I shouldn't have said my last name. This is my brother, Garrett Bender.
Anonymity is lost.
Yeah, so we made it. Our first episode was a smashing success. We are sponsored now by Yingling beer. I can't believe it either. I had to go buy this. They didn't really give it to me for free, so I guess we're not sponsored by them yet. Yeah,
but manifesting.
Yeah, one day it's gonna happen. I'll just.
Yep. Strong start to day 2, episode 2.
Day 2. It's a whole nother week, actually.
Yeah. Yep. And a week has passed. A week and a day has passed. So we were supposed to do the podcast. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'd like to apologize to everybody, all of our fans.
You guys are waiting.
Yeah, one extra day, but also the end of episode 1 got cut off magically, and so we have. This is technically our third podcast episode because I made the second half a half of an episode, which makes sense to me only, probably, but it is what it is. We're learning. As we grow, we'll get better at this. We talked about that.
Yep.
I feel like I'm talking to. But yeah, no, it's been fun. That first episode was funny to hear ourselves talk, and it is kind of weird because I feel I'm anti like me everything, and kind of doing a podcast, you kind of feel like you're just constantly talking about yourself and like how great you are, and that's super awkward. And I think it's a huge problem in today's society, especially with all these like influencers and people. It just is just everything is like it's definitely younger generation. You'll see it like all over the place. You go into restaurants, grocery stores, it's all about you. It's all about me. Me. Driving nowadays, I think that's a big issue.
Yep.
But that's
absolutely
one about this, because realistically, we're just two brothers trying to figure out life here, and we have nothing figured out really, except for we eat.
Yep.
That's about it. Well, this is a journey. So
yeah, man, it's interesting how easily like the ego can be inflated, like doing something like this, like it's easy to compare. It's easy to like fantasize about like things being amazing, and you can just tell like what it would do to anyone, but especially like a developing mind or like a kid fresh out of high school, like these influencers, like being an influencer, that's a new thing in our life. Like it wasn't a word when we were growing up. That's like a new job that people, and like I question like the influencer tag on a lot of these people too, like influencer. It's like influencer of what? Like fucking but
it's probably it's probably one of those words that mean two different things, like an actual real influencer that's trying to help people in life.
Yep, do positive things, teach people, they have growth mindset, like tools to better themselves. And then go on.
Oh yeah, then you got the streamers and people that just do stupid shit just to get views and whatever. But I don't know. There's a place for them too, I guess. So
Yeah, it's paradox, the duality of life. It's a paradox. Yeah. It's always both ends of the spectrum have to exist, I guess. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a weird ass time that we live in. It's hard not to compare yourself to everyone, and like even if you don't think you're doing it consciously, like it's just think like 20, 30 years ago, people weren't looking, you just weren't looking at as many people's lives. Like you can sit on Instagram now and just scroll for an hour and you're like absorbing, and you're naturally going to compare yourself to hundreds of people's lives. And like often, it's the highlight reel. I think we talked about that in the last episode, like the highlight reel of their lives, and it's not the realistic, like, grind, the tough times, the like getting yourself to wake up when you don't feel like it, the grinding on the thing when you don't feel like it, like that's like the real shit of all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about why we're a day late on our podcast? No? You don't have to.
Yeah, I don't care. I think it's important. I thought about it today. I was listening to our first episode, and I said a lot of things on there about when times get tough and having a plan and, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and, asking for help when you need it and reaching out. And yeah, yesterday I just like haven't been sleeping well, for a good week, and just like trying to work out again, and just like everything caught up to me, and I was just like feeling super exhausted mentally and physically. Like, and I just laid down for a nap expecting to wake up quickly, and I just stayed in bed and just ended up being pretty, I don't know, like down, like depressed would be a word I've used in the past. I'm like trying to get away from just using that, but it's a pretty good description of how I felt last night. It was just like heavy. Everything like was telling me not to do this. It was fighting me. All of like, it was like the inner darkness, like the shadow self was fucking winning, and it was real. And like, it sucked. And like, I didn't go to sleep well, and I didn't sleep good last night. And like, I was stressing, and I like listened to the podcast this morning, and just, I called you before you're going to work, and I fucking apologize. Cause it's like, I just heard myself talk about all the shit I like didn't do. Like, I didn't take my own advice. And I think that's like a beautiful part about doing a podcast. And we brought that up of like just the benefits of just even taking the time to like every once a week to hold yourself accountable to something. And yeah, man, it just, that inner bitch. I don't know. David Goggins, like the inner bitch. Like, I want to get away from those words. Maybe, I don't know. Like, but that's what it felt like,
Why are you trying to, why don't you call it, why aren't you saying that you're depressed?
Is when I've heard it talked about, I don't know who talked about it, I've heard a lot of people talk about it, is like saying I am anything is like you're claiming that thing, and like, and it just makes it more intense and more like real. It's like the more you give it power, the more power it's going to have.
You start to believe that.
Yeah. And I think there's merit, and it's not to like belittle depression and like belittle anxiety and belittle, like, that's real shit. And like, some people need drugs and need different, there's all types of different treatments for all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Lost your train of thought.
Well, how are you feeling today? Better?
Yeah, I feel better? Okay. Yeah, a little better. I think I had to like reflect a lot today and remember like what's the most important part, and it's like nothing gets done if you don't do it. and you have to make progress, and like pushing through the tough times is the most important times. And this is a safe space, you know. I think part of me misses just talking, you know, like we were like we were on a
Yeah.
pretty solid roll of like 2 3 hour conversations once a week
Mm-hmm.
about everything, you know. And now we like live together, so we see each other a lot more. And then it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think that's like part of the, like, I don't know, heaviness of
Yeah.
what I was feeling, and like just needing to like I needed to talk, like, and it was silly that like I
Yeah.
avoided talking on a podcast, but I needed to just like talk and voice how I was feeling, because it was, I don't know, man, like I just
Yeah.
need to get out of my head.
Yeah. And I kind of like, I was kind of trying to figure out how to handle it, because now we are living together. So like, I can go in and wake you up, you know,
Yep.
if I like, but I didn't know. I just kind of let it be. And I texted you like, we'll do the podcast tomorrow or Wednesday. It's not a big deal, because it, like, this is a big deal to me, but like, we're, I know you're working through your stuff, and like, I, I'm learning how to exactly, like, how much, because would it help if I pushed you, like, if, or would it have pissed you off, or like made you mad, or you just probably laid there, or what do you think if I went in there and try to wake you up?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a deeply rooted thing that's been
Yeah.
present in a lot of situations in my life that I'm not proud of. And there is like, it's like this mindset, this headspace I get into. I've talked about it with so many people, and you know, like, you're just, everything in you is telling you not what, you know, to not do the things you know you should do. And
Yeah.
like, so yeah, you coming in there, I don't know, like it might have done the opposite, might have just pissed me
Right.
off even more, put me even more in the hole, you know. And that's like a me thing, and that's the pressure I'm putting on myself to change and like grow, is like I need to get out of that and like figure out the process to get myself out of that, you know. And the ice tub helps, you know, like that's like a solid state change. But it's still like I get stuck in these loops, man, and I get stuck in this like self-sabotage habits, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with, you know. Like this
Mm-hmm.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
this is like vulnerable shit to talk about. This is weird talking about, knowing, like thinking other people can listen to this now. But it's, that's what this
Yeah.
podcast is for. So it's,
Well, if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to.
no, man, this is
It's a,
important. Like the people that know me and the people that, you know, like any,
yeah.
like I'm pretty open about mental health and like the struggles I've had with it. And
Yeah.
there are some situations I still need to write, which is just like having difficult conversations and like owning up and apologizing face to face like a man to some people. And I won't talk about those situations until that happens.
Right.
But there's a lot of other things that I did own up, and I did apologize, and I did reflect, and I did learn a lot from. And you know, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've held myself back. I've been my biggest fucking enemy, you know, like I'm sure everyone is to themselves, you know.
Yeah.
And like I think one of my gifts is being able to talk about it.
You know what we just talked about
So
before we got on?
not talking about this.
No, no. How many times we said like, and you know,
Oh,
I just,
yeah, did I say, you know, a
yeah,
bunch?
like 5 times.
Damn.
So I was trying not
Fuck,
to
I
laugh.
don't even
Sorry.
know I say it. Yeah, that's when I was listening to it, I was like, man, I don't remember saying that once.
But I feel bad for like cracking out then, but I just got it like, it
No,
was like
it's good.
five.
I was wondering why you were. No, it's good. Keep pointing it out, because I want to
Well,
change that. Like, it's
that's
a,
all back to this, but I couldn't hold it in.
yeah, no, that's good, man.
So when you
No,
hit the,
that's good. That's what
like,
this is for.
no, but yeah, you were making great points though about everything before I interrupted you with that stupid inside
It's not
joke.
stupid. No, that's important
But
because I wanted to change it. That's why I told you about that. Like that was driving me nuts, dude. Oh man, I said If anyone listens to the first episode, I apologize for the amount of times I said I didn't know. I was saying every fucking sentence. Like it just
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I get the little camera difficulty. But no, I say like. I hate when people do that. I said it like a million times when I was in the last episode podcast, the first episode. So Garrett is trying to get back up here. I think we just edit this out. Uh, I can keep filling time though and tell some terrible jokes. I don't really have any great jokes though. Just the classics. I just talk to myself, tell stories. What did I do today? I bought some used lawn equipment off the Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, that was exciting. What else did I do? Oh, that was a good deal actually. First time I ever buy an electric, like a mower. All the like, it's like Cobalt, the brand or whatever. So it's an electric mower with batteries, and what is it? It was like chainsaw, a blower, hedge trimmer, and a weed whacker. And the lady was really nice. It was like $240 gave her, so it was pretty. I feel like it was a good deal. I don't know. I really, for all that, I think it was a great deal. She helped me out big time, so that was exciting. But I don't know. I'm kind of worried about these batteries. Like, they're gonna blow up or like charging them. Isn't that a huge fire hazard? Most of them. Oh no! Now we totally lost them. I don't know what to do. I think I keep talking until he joins back, and then I clip this whole thing. Yeah, I think that's what I have to do.
we're back.
Welcome back. I was just telling a great story about I bought uh, battery powered lawn equipment.
I heard. I was listening.
Oh, you
I
could
could hear you.
hear.
Good job. Way to vamp, man.
Well, because I learned that if we end this session, this is how we learned the last time because I ended it early. There's no
Yep.
way of piecing them together on this app. At least I know that you probably can go and buy some editing software.
Yeah.
I'll probably end up doing eventually, but I like don't really want to do that, especially when we're paying for this already, and I think they're gonna eventually add that into this hardware, software, whatever you call it. So, but yeah, so I think we can just edit that whole chunk out.
It was good.
I'm sure they'll love that.
Yeah.
By they, I mean like
Everyone, all of our listeners.
but we really haven't put this out on the. It's on YouTube, but it's not anywhere else, and we don't have like any social medias yet or anything, which is coming. It'll be kind of cool though, because then like they can watch like 4 hours or whatever. I don't know how many hours we're doing, but all at once we send it out to whatever.
Yeah. If anyone wants to listen to us for that
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, it's super entertaining.
Yeah, well, it is. There's nuggets in there, and like
Yeah.
I said, it's for us. And as long as we keep it that way, we're only going to get better at this, and then we're going to be, able to have. I said, we're going to be able to have a more articulate conversation, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot smoother and flow
Right.
a lot better. And I think we have a lot of like space in between, our points and stuff, and a lot of
Right.
filler words, and it's going to be cool, man, to see the progression. That's why I don't want to say, I'm like, I want you to keep fucking pointing that out because that's how you get better.
Yeah. All right. So we kind of left off about yesterday and everything you're going through, kind of all that.
Yep.
So, in the future, do you think I should try it if it happens again? Or should I not? Should I just kind of leave you
I
sleep?
guess, man, but just be prepared to bite. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right.
No,
Good to
man,
know.
it's something I need to like be able to get myself out of, man. Like I
Well, you're highly capable of it, and you
yeah,
do
I
it more
know.
often than you probably even realize. But
Yeah, but it's just such a deeply rooted like every time I don't do it, you know, it's like anything. Like you fuck it up and then, you know, I said it again, didn't I?
no,
Every time you say it, yeah, that's
no,
annoying.
I would say it. I don't really notice it.
I
The
know,
only
dude.
reason I know the only reason I notice it is because you told me that. Now it's
Yeah,
like in here.
it's
But
perfectionism, man. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
well,
I
it's
can't not hear it.
this is right though. You're right. Like this is all practice.
Yeah, and a lot of like
Everything.
speaking, you know, a lot of speaking is slowing down
Yeah,
and just talking smoother and pausing to think before you talk. So it's like a lot of
yeah,
filler words are just your brain taking up space instead of just like thinking and then responding.
right. You hear that
And
from like a lot of very high IQ people. You'll notice that they really take a long time to even process the question.
yeah,
When you hear Elon with Rogan or whoever, and they just kind of like take it in, and then it's just like a constant flow of words that all make total sense when he talks.
yep.
That's something I've noticed with them high IQ people. They're super smart. But
Yeah, but yeah, it's just a skill too. It's communication. Like it's deep, man. Like there's a lot of things like looking people in the eyes and
yeah,
using, you know, responding. Gosh, every time I say it, no, I'm aware, which is good. We're getting somewhere. uh, but yeah, intentional listening. That's like a big thing that we don't learn as kids. You know, we learn to get our point across. So when another person is talking, you're just waiting for them to finish talking for you to say your point. Whereas like proper listening and the way to make someone feel heard is to repeat a little bit of what they said in your answer. If they're asking you a question or if you are asking them a question, you know, just acknowledging a piece of it. There's something it just deepens the connection of the conversation and makes people feel heard. And I've practiced that in like a it was like a yoga teacher training type course with Mitchell, and he took us through this like active listening thing, and it was amazing, man. Like it was the first time I ever looked people in the eye consistently in a conversation and like actually practice that. And like it's difficult when you don't do it ever,
yeah,
and like to like keep your train of thought while you're looking at someone in the eyes and then listening to them intently and like actively trying to tell them something they just said to you while you're speaking and as well as respond, you know, like
yeah.
it's full, man. It's full on. And yeah, those
I've
are like some of the best thinkers, man. They're really good at that. And like they stay calm too. I think that's a big key too. Like even if they disagree with someone or someone's
yeah,
attacking them, like that's what I respect the most. Like when people are still able to just like stay calm, still not get, you know, not get emotionally charged like, you know, they want you to, you know, like gosh, every time I say it, that's so annoying. And but yeah, it's a common thread. And it's good to notice those things. I think that's part
yeah,
of what our role is as this like middle way kind of people at the beginning, in the middle of their journey, like distilling this information, like finding those common threads that a lot of successful people in all different fields and businesses are doing. Like
yeah,
that's the shit to like pay attention to, you know, because everything is just repeated. It seems like most ideas are like any self-help people, like it's just regurgitated ideas in
Yeah.
that person's form, you know.
Mhm.
Gosh.
I had a funny story about the looking people in the eyes back. I learned someone told me this trick of if you don't want to look them right in the eye, like look at their eyebrows. And then I had this. I was looking at the. I don't know. I think it was like a. I don't know. It was somebody I didn't really respect that much, but I was trying to listen to whatever they're saying to me. So I was looking at their eyebrows, and then in my head, I was just talking mad shit about their eyebrows. I started. I don't know what I was saying, but I made myself laugh. I just started laughing, like just for no reason. And then I was like,
That's
"Oh, I'm
great.
sorry." Just couldn't. I like pull it together. Stop. But that is a good trick though, because you can't really tell.
Yeah,
It's like I'm looking at your eyebrows right now.
that's cool. I've never heard eyebrows. I've heard middle of the like forehead or their nose.
Yeah, I've heard anything on their face. They can't really tell
Yeah,
where you're looking at if you look somewhere. I don't
that
know if
makes
that's
sense.
true or
The
not,
thing
but
is about looking people in the eye is that you're only ever looking at one eye because you can't look at both eyes. That's also a
yeah,
thing too. So you'll see like if you actually look in people's eyes, like you'll notice your eyes will shift like from
uh,
one eyeball to the other. Yeah,
uh,
it's
so switch
interesting,
your eyebrows.
but it's an important thing. I
Yeah,
think it's an important skill to like. It's one of
it
those
is.
old things, you know. It's one of those like old
Yes,
ways that we're kind of getting away from, and I think
right.
that's part of what the system, the programming, you know, the social media making us insecure. These kids are growing up like super like isolated.
100%. I
It's
agree.
wild, man. Like the amount, like when you run into like a younger kid these days, like there's a very slim chance they're going to look you in the eye, even if they're like the cashier or the
Right.
person like that actually has to talk to customers at a store or something. Like you're still like never, and that it's kind of a normal thing, I guess, for any age. Honestly, like we're all kind of
Yeah.
in our own bubbles a lot, but
Hmm.
looking people in the eyes can really break people out of that. I've
It
noticed.
does. Yeah. Yeah. Showing just a little bit of appreciation to somebody goes a long ways too
Yep.
when you're
You feel
looking,
seen.
talking to them, or because I mean, I even noticed it like just from, I guess, COVID years, like not going out as much and
Mm-hmm.
socializing. I don't really socialize at all now. It's kind of weird. So that's something I need to work on. Trying to get out of that comfort zone hole. So I get that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Feel that. Socializing, yeah, it's like the most important thing. Like that we're like losing very. It feels quickly now, but like it felt like it was kind of like a slow burn, and now it's just like really heating up because you can just isolate yourself really easily now. You know, like back in our parents, it's like I'm gonna start making a checklist. Back in our parents, they when they went to cash their check, they had to talk to a bank teller. When they went to get
Yeah.
groceries, they had to talk to there's no self checkout. There was,
Hmm.
and then, and like everything you did involved like communicating with another person. And even though it was like,
Paying gas, paying for
yeah, minimal
gas. Yeah.
interactions, it's like, it's still, yeah, paying gas. Yep. Yep.
Didn't have the card.
You're still just getting hit with like human to human interaction, whereas now you can go weeks, days, months,
Yeah.
like without even
Forever.
talking to a person. Yeah, you can. Like if
Yeah.
you have a job like that's work from home and like you can order everything to your door and you don't have to leave, and that's happening. Like that's a real
It's
thing.
wild.
It's nuts, man. It's scary. So it's good to be aware, like, and you're aware. And there's always, with everything, ebbs and flows. Like there's times where you're gonna isolate more, and there's times where you're gonna be more social, and it's just a part of it. But having that awareness, knowing that, like recognizing, like shit, I need to be around people because it's just, we need it. It's like,
Yeah.
we are like a tribal people, tribal
Yeah.
species. We're like, that's where we thrive.
Yeah. I think the older I get, it's like the more I realize the type of people I want to be around too. So I kind of got to work on that too, because I shouldn't be eliminating everybody, but there is a lot of people I don't want to be around nowadays. And like, you would give them the time of day, but just with today's society all crazy. But that's part of that issue. But I think the only way you're gonna find the people you want to hang around is by hanging around a bunch of different people, and hopefully
Yep.
hit it off with certain ones. That's what I'm telling myself, at least right now. So
Yeah.
it's kind of weird because I consider myself like I grew up in the city and everything. Back in Minneapolis, lived there pretty much my whole life, and now like I hate the city. I just want to live in the country. Like, I think I get along with those type of people way better than I do anybody here. But I know there's some here still. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Back to my great lawn equipment story. That lady I went and picked that up from, that was a cool area. It felt kind of like it was, I don't know how I would describe it, like maybe like a Farmington, like a
Okay.
Rosemount
Yeah.
area, I would say.
Yep.
Kind
Kind
of
of
had a few like
in
a
the
small
country.
town, but it had a bunch of the big stuff. I don't know.
Yep.
It was cool. I felt like there wasn't as many trees. There was a ton of trees. I cannot believe how many trees are in this fucking state, city, whatever. But
Yep.
it was a little more open out there, which is kind of nice. And it was a cool area. Good to know. I think it's out like southeast or something. Southeast Charlotte. It was on the
Yep.
other. It was on the outside of 85. 85 is the big ring, right? The big one that goes around the whole city.
You think I would know that?
I think it
I
is.
don't know for sure. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been here almost 2 years, and I don't know.
I think. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the inner and outer, because then it's like 85 south outer or inner or something.
Yep.
I think I figured it out a little bit. Like it's the inner ring, so it's, I don't know. It's like the ring that's closer to the city, that side of the road, and then the outer is on the other side, the other direction.
Yep.
I have no idea, but
Yeah, you know more than me.
I just
In your
followed
6 weeks.
GPS. I almost decided not to use GPS one day. I got like 2 blocks away, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm in this on. I don't know where I'm at still."
I was without a phone for like 2 months, and
Oh,
I was making maps, dude. I went straight 90s.
old school, nice.
Yeah, just started drawing maps, googling it on the computer, and then drawing a map. And it worked. I got around. I mean, like I got
Yeah,
everywhere I needed to get to, and I figured out ways. Like I memorized ways to drive finally.
landmarks. Yeah,
Yep. But yeah, it's so crazy to think how we're so bad at navigating now. Like that's like a skill that's just gone unless you intentionally work on it. Like I
yeah. It
know like
hurts.
north, south, east, and west, but that's about it. And that's something I'd like to work on in the future for sure.
I think like directions are. There's a part of your brain that like holds all that type of information, and
Mm.
I don't know if this is true or not. I've heard this like I just said like again. So back in the taxi driver days, they tested like those guys' brains compared to like a normal person's brain, and that like part of their brain was bigger than a normal person's brain because they
Mm.
just like had a great directional awareness type stuff, knew everything, the whole city. I think it was a study or something. I'll have to look
Yeah.
into that.
That's crazy. I've
I can
seen
just Google it.
something about like to become a taxi driver in London. That it's it's nuts. It was like the final test as they just give you two locations and you have to with like with your eyes closed or whatever, like just in your mind, you have to like tell, and it's
Tell them how to get
fucked.
there.
Like,
Damn,
it's
that's
like
crazy.
old ass, just and all of the none of the fucking names make any sense. Like, and it's all messed up, and the dudes do it, man. Like, yeah, I think it's definitely a thing. Some people are built for different things, and
Yeah,
that's one of them.
that's
That's cool.
interesting stuff. There's all kinds of
Yeah,
interesting
man.
stuff.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
have you any quotes, anything from this week that you've stood out to you, or
from
how's
this
your
week.
week been? Yeah, how's your week been? I
Oh,
talked about my, struggling with the dark side and
well, that was only like one
yeah,
day, so
getting back on the horse. Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. It's just every day feels like I'm not doing enough. That's how I'm. That's kind of a consistent feeling. Like
yeah, yeah.
that's
I got
okay.
that. I get that feeling all the time. My week was pretty good. I think since last Monday night, right? We talked, and then Tuesday, just a lot of work stuff. I don't know. If, I don't.
Yep.
Work is work. It's kind of stressful. I do a lot. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I don't. I don't know. It's fine. I'll just I just work hard, and then at the end of the day, I kind of get stuck in my own head of like because I need to lose weight, I need to work out, I need to do all that stuff, and I keep just putting it off for reasons, just reasons I make up. Like I'll start it Monday, I'll start it Tuesday, whatever. Just don't do
Hmm.
it. And yeah, I don't know. This weekend, I don't even. It's kind of weird because I don't remember much. I didn't. I had drinks on Sunday when I had that. You guys had the friendsgiving thing. Oh
Yep.
yeah, we raked the fucking we raked all the leaves in the front yard. Like there wasn't one on the ground, and went to bed. Woke up, went to work. Still no leaves on the ground. Came back from work. It looked like we didn't do anything. I got back
Yep.
in like an 8 hour period, 9 hour period. The entire front lawn was covered with leaves again.
Yep.
The There's like
Yeah, we got a
15 trees in
couple.
our yard, so
We got a couple neighbor. We got a neighbor that air blows his leaves every day. I think they're
oh
trying to sell
yeah,
the house, so makes sense.
yeah,
Like he's trying to keep it looking nice, and yeah, I've been feeling the pressure to like rake the leaves a little bit because they were stacking up a little bit, and like they can
yeah,
blow into other people. People care, and like you don't want to be the dick neighbor that doesn't pick up their leaves, and then we fucking finally do.
yeah.
It's like the
Nothing.
next day, fucking nothing happened.
Yeah,
Like it was ridiculous. I'd never, yeah, like just yep.
I
So
couldn't believe it. I thought it was like someone was playing a prank on us or something, dude. I was like,
yeah, I
what the
looked
hell?
in the Ring app. I looked in the Ring app during like when I was at work, and like
Oh,
I was like, what the fuck? Like that wasn't our place. Like, and then when I pulled in, I was like, what the fuck?
yeah.
Like, it wasn't that big a deal, but it was just shitty. Like,
Yeah.
like
It,
it's like,
it's
yeah, it's there's endless snowstorms in Minnesota. It was like, just, yep, sweet. Like, fuck me. Yep.
yeah,
We tried,
yeah, yeah. Then
Mm,
I guess we cleaned the backyard up Sunday morning. Well, it rained out Friday all day. I
yep.
think. Yeah,
Yep.
rained out all day Friday. Saturday, you had to work, right? And
Yep.
I don't
And then
think I did anything.
yeah,
Oh,
clean up the house a little bit.
I watched a bunch of war movies.
Yep. That's what you said.
I think I watched Pearl Harbor, American Sniper,
Nice.
Act of Valor. I don't know. Oh, it was Veterans Day. That's why
Yep.
I was
Yep.
on the.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you to all the veterans.
Yep.
But
Thank you.
yeah, I think people need to watch some of that stuff. I always say Band of Brothers. Like we should mandatorily, we should be mandated to watch Band of Brothers once a year in this country. I mean,
That's
granted, all the
fair.
politics behind all that stuff, it doesn't matter because those guys, like, still the guys that went out and did that, it's just a whole, it's mine. I can't comprehend it. So
Yeah, dude. Grateful people like that exist, man.
yeah,
Like the people that are on the front, like there's a lot of shit that happens, politics behind all of the wars and all that shit. But at the end of the day, the people who sign up
yeah,
to go and put their lives on the line, for people here and people next to them, like that's fucking, those are some
yeah,
amazing people, it
yeah,
takes a special person. And I think it is, yeah, important for, I think Americans are very like sheltered, like we're very like,
yeah,
we've never really been attacked in like modern times. Like nothing's ever like been brought to our shores, like as in the history of our country since the revolution, and like, yeah, I think we just
well,
don't
Pearl
really
Harbor
know what, like, yeah, Pearl Harbor, true. Yeah.
and
I
9/11.
ain't gonna, yeah, I ain't gonna try to
Like,
talk about history, bro. I'm gonna look like a dumbass.
yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Just
PSA, I don't know shit. I know, like, I know enough, but
oh,
should know more. And I think it is good to, yeah, acknowledge people that sacrifice their lives to try to
yeah,
keep and make this country so what it is, the way it is.
yeah,
And
it's
I think everyone could do a good, just go overseas if you don't like it here. Like, go see like true poverty. Go see like how fucked up the rest of the world is. Like, there's a lot of fucked up shit that we don't see.
yeah,
And like, it's, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, America's pretty fucking awesome. Like,
yeah.
uh, yeah, that's how I
I
feel.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
think
100%
there's,
agree. But
yeah, grateful. Like, we get to do this. Like, you can't do this in other places, in some
all right,
countries, like this shit,
yeah,
and
well, even Canada now. You can't.
yeah, dude, that fuck, yeah,
I mean, you
that's
can, but I
nuts
think
that that's
they're
happening. Yep. They just slowly
like you
did
could.
it, like, yeah, they're just moving towards social credit system, fucking everything being locked down.
That's
It's
weird.
it's weird, man. It is weird. It's a weird time. I think that's part of what this is for too. Like, it's more important now than ever. I'm sure everyone said this throughout the fucking history of ever, but feels like a very, like, I don't know if fragile is the right word, but it's very, I feel the pressure to like evolve as a person and like be a better man and like be prepared for like the to hit the fan. Like, I don't know what's
Yeah.
gonna happen, but a lot of people I respect and who know a lot more than I do are warning of some
Yes.
crazy shit happening. And like, that's what us moving in together and like holding each other accountable and talking every week, like, it was like a big root of it. It was just like, we need to be, we need to support each other. Like, we need to be around each other more. It's real.
Yeah.
Like, gotta stick together. Like, gotta build together because, yeah, like I said, shit hits the fan. Like, it all goes back to the old ways. Like, everyone has a duty, and you either
Yeah.
fucking get along or you get left behind. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. This is crazy, dude. Like, thinking about a podcast, like, you could take it so many ways.
Oh,
Like,
I know. Yeah, we
you
could
could go
talk
on
about.
so many fucking tangents. Like,
Yeah, we could talk about this for days. That's
I
kind of
know.
like what I'm passionate about. But I don't want to talk about that stuff. We got we, we kind of geared this towards one way. I think we will get into that eventually, for
Yeah.
sure. Because we could go into everything like what we believe and all this stuff. But
Right,
at
right,
the end of the
right.
day, we're just still talking about our week.
Yep. Yeah. It's action, right? Yeah. It's figuring out processes to put in place in our lives to make us better people. And yeah, you're right. We need to keep this focus. Like that's important as
Well,
well.
yeah, I mean, I
But
think
eventually,
it's part of me. Like politics and everything is something I like to dabble in. I don't really current
yeah.
events and stuff. I guess I don't know, but yeah,
My
yeah.
point
Well,
is us both like going hard and just like
right.
going off about
I
all
know.
this shit. It's like
Yeah,
it's gonna make us feel good.
it's
And like,
tough to keep the tangents
yep.
escaping us here, just going off on them. But I think we'll be fine. I don't know. We got Sunday. We did the big year. I don't know if you want. There's a big friendsgiving,
Yep.
and there's like what 30 people,
It was
20,
like
30
yeah, it
people
was
here.
like 30 plus, yeah, in the backyard
Yeah,
and in the house. First time ever hosting anyone. That was a big deal.
really?
Like
Well,
like a
that's a lot.
party like that. Yeah, like
Yeah,
yeah, dude, I've never had a house that I've like wanted to host people at. I never
yeah,
lived in a place. First time we've had a guest room. First time I've ever had guests. Like
gotcha.
all that is new. So it's pretty cool. Feel like an adult. Like I'm growing
Well,
up.
nice. Welcome.
Yeah. Yep.
It's cool. It was good. I think that's kind of goes back to one of the things like I want in my life, especially if we like well off or if you can provide things to people. Just
Yep.
I don't want anything back. I don't want anything in return. Never do. I just want them to have a good time, enjoy themselves while they can while they're here. But a lot of people make that into a big deal. Like
Yep.
I got to bring something. Oh, I got to go do this. I don't want people to feel that way. If they're feeling that way, they have to come over. Like, don't really want that. That's not what it's about. It's about just helping out other people. Not even helping them out. It's just that's a bad word to use. Just invite them into your house, giving them some food and whatever. Just letting them relax. They don't have to do the dishes. They don't have to do anything. Just come out, hang out, be around good people, and enjoy their time. That's important, I think, going
Yeah.
forward. Like
Yep.
that's something even in the past. That's all I wanted to do. And I've noticed the older I've gotten, like it it's easier just to tell people exactly the way it's going to be and what you want them to bring
Right. Yeah.
or what it's going
Make
to
the
be like.
decisions for them. Yeah.
Yes, and just leave it as that. And just make it clear that they don't have to feel obligated to do any of that. They don't want to.
Yep. Yeah, it's community. You're talking
Yeah.
about community. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's important. It's important. Like we need
Yeah,
to
that's
be
cool though. Did you like
feel.
it?
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Yeah, yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like hosting people is like I just want them to have a good time. I want to feed them. Yeah, I want them to enjoy it. I don't really try not to think about. I didn't think about myself. Like, so I was probably stressing way too much.
Yeah. Yeah, you were.
about about nothing.
Yeah. It's easy to
Yeah.
do
Yep.
because you get,
It's
I feel like a lot of that shit is like TV and movies, dude. Like we get,
build
we
it
have
up.
this mindset. Yeah. Oh, it's supposed to be this and this. I'm supposed to do this and this.
Yeah.
Really, it's like just go and do it. Do it and try to enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, don't do it then. Like I
Yeah.
enjoy hosting people. I always loved that. Never was like bothersome to me. I'll invite our entire family over. That didn't one time like bother me. At least I don't think. I don't know. Maybe it did bother me once or something. I don't know. But I like that. I like hosting, so it's something I enjoy. What this like didn't really feel like. I keep saying like. It didn't feel as if it was my
Good catch. That's it. We're breaking progress.
Yeah. It was my event or anything. I just contributed, and that was kind of it because I didn't know anybody. So it's kind of one
Yeah.
of those things. But I think it's good. I think that was good that you guys did that too. So it feels
Yeah,
really
it
good.
was cool. It was cool. It was good. It was a good time.
Yeah, sounded like everybody enjoyed it. It was a big
Yeah,
turnout.
had a good
It's good.
fire and yeah, everyone ate good. It
Yeah,
was everything. It was a success. I did not need to be
yeah.
stressing, and like
Had,
I
had
think
it.
I create a lot of stress when it comes to social situations because I've told myself a lot of times that I'm not social. You know, like I spent a long time
Yeah,
isolating myself, and I never fucking like. I think we're different in that sense. Like I never liked going to the bar. I never liked parties. Like I never liked being around a bunch of people ever.
yeah.
And that's
It's
something I'm working on
it's funny because
evolving now.
you're way better at it than I am talking to people.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close. So
Yeah. I I don't know, man. It's just it's an example of the programming. It's an example of like I keep telling myself these things are going to be stressful, and
mhm.
like the job that I have, I answer the phone like with strangers, and I never ever thought I would do that or be able to do that. Like even a few years ago, like I fucking hate talking on the phone, and like I don't, like I build everything up. I think it's an overthinker trait. Uh, yeah, that you can just get stuck in your head so much and create these situations and build everything up, and it's never as bad, or it's always better than you think it's going to be. It's never as bad as you could have imagined. And so yeah, there's a lot of work there, and I feel like a lot of the success in my life is going to come off the back of me just communicating better with everyone. Like I have a lot of amazing people in my life, and I don't communicate well, like to a lot of them, and it holds me back. It holds, and like I love helping people, and I love being there for people, and but it comes back to the same thing. Like I build things up so much that I just freeze. I just avoid. I just hide, and it's kind of been my mo since I can remember. Like just yeah, always isolated, always ran away. I was skipping school in high school, showing up, like all that shit, or yeah, running fucking not showing up to practice on the U.S. team. Like there's a lot like running away from multiple solid job opportunities when things got hard, or like when a difficult conversation needed to be had, and I just chose not to have that difficult conversation. So yeah, this I think a big challenge for me is not putting the weight of my past on every fucking decision I make now.
Yeah,
And that's I don't know how to do that, and I feel like I'm existential about everything, and that's fucking exhausting. Like it's like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I'm fucked up. I'm fucking up because of whatever. Like it's being a victim too, a
yeah.
lot. And I've been a victim, and I've been
Yes,
addicted to being a victim, for
yeah,
most of my adult life. Like I've chose to focus on the negatives, and woe is me, blame, try to place blame on other things, my upbringing, my whatever the fuck, like the sport I was in, the coaches I had, the what it's, at the end of the day, like you're the common variable in all of those different equations. And once you start realizing that, that's where the real work begins, and
yeah,
it's looking in the mirror, honestly.
yeah,
And that's what I think talking to each other has brought us. So,
yeah. As you're super aware of all that for sure, because yeah, if I had noticed anything, so far it's been that kind of like everything seems super deep to you, like a simple decision or question is doesn't have to be like broken down into the history of your life, and I don't know, like I think you're very aware of it, which is good. I didn't really know that, to be honest, to be truthful. Like I think that's the first time you told me that part right there of being the existential.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
big
super,
word you use,
yeah,
and just aware that
existential.
I can't say that word.
You can, man. Words.
I can say it. I know. I can sound it out really slow. No, yeah, existential. Is that
Yep.
right? Something like that. I don't know.
Yep. That's pretty good.
But yeah, well, that's good though. I mean,
Yeah, it's exhausting. It's silly. You
yeah, I can
don't
see
need
that
to.
on you.
And the trait, very, very common trait, another one of those common traits of successful people is their time of making a decision is fucking quick, fast.
Mm-hmm.
They make decisions fast.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's how they get shit done. So they make decisions fast, they build shit faster, they fail faster, they learn faster. So it's like a root of it's a form of self-sabotage at this point because I'm so aware of it. So it's like I
yeah.
put myself in these thinking loops. Like, and I think this podcast helps a lot. I think it when we stay consistent, like this is going to be a big part. And like I want to get a therapist so that I think having some space to like really go deep some at
Yeah.
like specific times during the week will allow me to be like, fucking set it aside, like wait, talk to your therapist about that. Go talk podcast instead of fucking just have a fucking hour and a half conversation. I do this shit all the time. I did it last night with my girlfriend. Like just fucking wasted. I didn't waste, but like sat in this like grumpy ass mood and just like debated with her about how I suck because I didn't show up for the podcast and everything. I was just focusing on all the negative shit, and like in those moments I need to have a process to get myself out of that and stop thinking, like, because you can't think yourself out of a problem that starts in your mind. Like then like this is where a lot of frustration can be bred when you're in this process of like rewiring and reprogramming your self-sabotage habits, your bad habits, your the stuff we're trying to fix in ourselves. Like it can be fucking frustrating because we now know a lot of tools to use, but we don't. Like it's like now we kind of we don't have like fucking excuse of like, well, I don't know what to do. It's like I kind of
Right.
do know what to do, and I'm still choosing not to fucking do it. So it's just like it's like an extra you're a piece of
Yeah.
shit feeling, like that's how it feels.
Yeah. One when you're talking about all that, that the book Extreme Ownership keeps popping in my head because the decision making, and then also Jocko just do it kind of attitude. It keeps popping in my head.
Yep.
It's true. Like I don't know if anybody's ever read any of those books or know who he is, but he hits
Highly
the nail on the
recommend.
head on a lot of things. Yeah, it's probably
Yep.
it's probably the book that stuck in my head more than any book.
Yeah, you reference that one the most, I'd say.
Yeah, it's everything. It hit home hard on like every single thing, and just a great lesson. But also, it's coming from somebody that is for like one of the top humans around. So, I think I don't know, but
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
yeah,
I mean, his fucking resume is ridiculous, and he has a company Origins where he's bringing manufacturing back to the USA. Everything they make is American made, American bought, American materials, everything. He's got amazing podcast.
Yeah.
That he fucking has amazing people on all the time. He's got a whole kids book series, like that's fucking amazing too, like actionable, like lessons and things like in kids. But yeah, it's just a fucking amazing person. And he led people in war and had people die under him and because of leadership decisions he made. And like it's a great book. I need to read it again. It was one of the first books I read, like I probably read it like 5 or 7 years, like a long time ago. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
So I definitely need to get back on it. But I remember the book is summarized by the title, like extreme ownership is the main theme. It's like all this, no matter what happens in your life, like
own it.
You have to own it. Yeah. And until you do that, it's getting away from the victim mentality, like you got to own it. And he has a really famous video on YouTube called Good. And you just type in good and it'll say good Jocko Willink. And it's like 2 minutes long. And the whole video is just, he's got this like little voice and everything is just like him talking about someone that worked under him or for him that would always come to him with problems. And then eventually that same person that would come to Jocko with all his problems. He just said one day, like, I don't even know why I come to you. Like, I know what you're going to say. And he's like, oh, what's that? And he's like, you're going to say good. And he's like, yeah, good. You got a problem? Good. You're fucking go. Like, yeah. And then he goes into this little spiel. I'm not going to highly recommend.
Yeah.
We can link them in. I don't know. Is that what people do?
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah. Yeah. In the description for sure.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
But there's something about that. Like he's very good at simplifying life down to like just fucking actionable. Just do it. Like, yeah. So I listened to him on runs lately. I've been in a lot in the past, a lot of workouts, Jocko voices in my head.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite, yeah, bro. One of my favorite ones is this fucking, he goes into the spiel of like, you know what I do when I don't feel like getting out of bed? I get up and I get out of bed. You know what I do when I don't feel like hammering on a project? I hammer on the project. Like, it's just like, that's just him, man. Wakes up at 4:30 in the morning, works out, fucking takes a picture of his watch every day. It's those are like, he is a mentor of both of ours. Like a person we've never met. And I think that's an important point to emphasize.
Yeah.
If anyone's made it this far in the episode. Like, we're
it's been an hour of pure gold, so I'm expecting them to be this far. But yeah. Mentors is a huge thing. I'm still working on. So it's but having
you have them.
Yeah, that's what you're just going to talk about too. Probably it's like having a mentor, even if you don't know that person, like personally, that's still a thing. You can still have that person as a mentor. Don't be like afraid of that. I was like, I can't just dial up Jocko. I can't dial up Joe Rogan or, my other favorite guys, Tim Kennedy and like all these guys. I don't have them on speed dial. But that is one of the good things about social media and YouTube and all this information that's out there. Because there's a ton of people like that. A ton of people like that are just all great people that you can follow. Ed Milet is another big one. Like all kinds of them that I think I look as mentors. Because you have, like I've always said this, I have my dad, and I always looked up to my dad. I still look up to my dad, but my dad doesn't know every single thing in the world, even though he thinks he does.
He definitely did growing up.
But there's other things in life that I'm interested in. My dad isn't interested in. These guys are though. So and they're just, there's people I respect, well respected people in the world, in the country, and in this atmosphere or whatever. And I don't know, that's kind of something that has helped me a little bit for sure, is finding them mentors. And just they give out guidance for free every day almost, basically. So and if it's not every day, they have it somewhere, like on YouTube. They're talking about the good video. David Goggins has a ton of inspirational stuff. He's a different
Yep.
level type human being guy, but heck, yeah, you can
Yeah.
still.
He's
There's
not
all
though. That's
there's
his whole thing. That's
yeah,
his
that's
whole
just
thing. Like he's just like us, just another person. Like
yeah, yeah.
just fucking
That's a great
owns
story
his
too.
mind.
I
Yeah.
think that was one of the first stories I've heard like that
Yeah. I
got
feel
me
like
into
I
this
sent you
kind of
that. I
path.
want to claim that.
You probably did,
Like,
yeah. I would
because
say
I
so.
sent you his first. I feel like I sent you the first podcast on Joe Rogan because he was on
Yeah.
Joe Rogan. I heard him on Joe Rogan
Hmm.
because he released his book. Then I bought his book, read his book,
Yeah.
listened to his book. Another podcast with Joe Rogan. Another book. Listened to his book. Read his book.
Yeah.
I've listened to and read both of his books.
Isn't it weird like all these guys that we just ran off? You think everybody in the country in the world would know these guys cuz they're
Yeah.
not, but they're like I'm sure they might have some struggles or I mean I know they do. They talk about struggles, but I'm talking about like bad stuff that they've done.
Yep.
I'm sure that's a possibility. But for the most part, they're like outstanding citizens. They're these great people that give great advice and have great stories.
Yep.
And when I bring it up to like random softball buddies or whatever, like who's that? And I'm like, how do you not know who David Goggins is? Like,
Yeah.
dude, how do you not know Jocko Willing? Like, it's amazing how we had to find them. You have to find them. They're just not like
Yep.
out there. Maybe that's the algorithm or something. I don't know. Keeping them. I don't know. Because I
Yeah.
guarantee you, it's weird. I guarantee you, if I met somebody that likes Jocko Willink, I'd probably be really good friends with that person.
100%.
It's like
Yep.
it's something like that. So
100%. I've had interactions just like that. Yep. A bunch of them. Just like
yeah,
start talking about different podcasts. I got so many people I could rail off. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like I probably, I don't know. I don't want to keep claiming shit, but like I got into this shit like 10 years ago. I started listening to Les Brown. I started listening to Les Brown tapes. So he had like a tape series that was on YouTube. They were 30 minutes and it was I think it was 13 days. It was 13 or 15. I can't remember. But it was like an old tape series, you know, like people would put the fucking cassette tape in their car, like on the way to work. So they were 30 minutes. That's why he made them 30 minutes, like people, you know, traffic or whatever. And I started listening to that. I found that on my own and I started listening to that every day. And like, I was depressed as shit. Like at that time, like this would have been 2013. Like I was on the U.S. rugby team and like just in my own fucking head, like young as fuck, didn't know anything about life, didn't know how to talk about anything, didn't know how to ask for help in any fucking type of way, like wasn't taking care of myself, all these things. And I just happened to find this dude that like stood out to me because he was very like, if I recommend Les Brown, like go back, look at his tapes, just type in Les Brown day one, and like they'll be like all the tapes are still on YouTube. I recommend that to everyone because he's very good at like he's a good intro person for like self help because he's very good at making fun of himself, like making light of like storytelling with lessons in it, and just like laughing at himself. Like he's got a great laugh, and that was like something I needed at the time. And then from him, I like graduated to like Wayne Dyer, and like Wayne Dyer is a fucking amazing mind as well, and he's passed away. Les Brown's still alive. I hope to see him for. He passed away like in this lifetime. But Wayne Dyer is fucking amazing too. I highly recommend Wayne Dyer. Any of his stuff. He breaks down the Tao Te Ching. I think I said that wrong, but it's like basically like all of the Buddhist rules of life and Hinduism like rules of life, and like breaks them down very clear, and like it's all just applicable shit. Like it's all, you know. And then I graduated to more modern people like Tom Bilyeu is a great one to listen to. He's got Impact Theory, built Quest Nutrition, sold it for $1 billion, and now he runs Impact Theory, Impact University, all these things to just give back to people, to pull ideas out of people's minds. You know, Ed Milet's another great mind as well. He's fucking awesome because he's genuine as fuck, and like he's a dad, and like he just seems like a good dude, and like he found God later in life. You know, he talks about his struggles, very open about the tough days. I think I respect him a lot for that. He's one of the guys, the few guys I've seen just like posting. He posted a video of him like in tears, just like talking about this is one of them fucking days they don't show you as entrepreneurs, and like just everything like deal fell through or some shit, and it just fuck with them, and like it was cool to see the real side of that. Because these dudes are all just people, and that's like the point, is like they can be your mentors because they're real people. Like they did it, you can do it, like, and it's okay. And we live in this fucking crazy time where you can put a fucking 4 hours of a person talking to you in your ears, like that's crazy. So it's also dangerous because like your fucking diet is not just your food intake. Like
yeah. Can't that was something you talked about. I don't know if you talked about the last podcast, but you mentioned that to me. If you're just sitting there listening to these guys over and over and over again, you get like, what is it? Your dopamine hits, or
it's because they call it. I think the term is mental masturbation. Is the person I heard talk about it was Chris Williamson on Modern Wisdom podcast. I think he was talking about it, and mental masturbation is a real thing now because you can just sit and listen to all these very successful people talk about being successful and talking about their story, and it can trick your physiology into thinking like you achieve something, and that's kind of like, there's like the old adage of like, don't talk about it, be about it. Like there's like this thing where if you talk about something too much, you get dopamine released by just talking about a goal. So if you talk about a goal too much, you won't have the drive to actually accomplish it because you've kind of like fucked your chemistry up. You like dulled your chemistry up because you got that like hit of it, because it's like, I got this great business idea, and you go tell it to 10 people, they're all going to be like, wow, that's a great business idea. And then you feel like, fuck yeah, whoa, yeah. And those feelings are like feelings you should get when you've made the fucking business, not like when you're just talking about it, So yeah, a lot of shit to be aware of, a lot of stuff to trip up. And so, yeah, action, is kind of the root of that whole spiel. Is you want to listen to these guys, but to a certain extent, and then putting things into action, is the most important part. And that's where we're at.
So yeah, kind of touched on a lot of things. I know we talking about quotes that we picked up from this week. I don't really have any quotes, but we both have, back to that action thing, or I guess it's kind of similar to that. You sent me that video. It was just a Instagram reel. The learning pyramid, I think it is. Yep. Yeah, that one really stood out to me a lot because it makes total sense.
Yeah, some shit we should have been told when we were 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like, what?
The learning pyramid. Do you want to explain it?
Yeah, well, we can go back for a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, it's up to you, man. You could try. Go ahead. Did you write it down?
Yeah, I wrote it down, but it's kind of how we learn, right?
Yep.
How we intake information, remember it.
Yep.
That's kind of what this is. So was it from a study or something, or were these?
Yeah, I think there was a study. It was, so the guy that posted the reel and the page I got it from, his name is Vin Quang Gang. He's very famous. He's got like 2 million followers on Instagram. People would know him. His thing is Ask Vin.
Only a few more than us.
Ask VINH.
I'm still listening.
You'd know him. He's an Asian dude. He's got like kind of spiky hair, and he's got like a really like monotone voice. He's very good at speaking, very good at speaking and like communication. And I think that's like his thing, and like learning and teaching. He's just another really great coach of mind. But yeah, this thing popped up, and it's the learning pyramid. So it's how much information we retain while learning things in different ways. So it said listening was you retain about 5%. So podcasts, like, it's good to consume, but you're not. And that's the argument that I made on the last podcast about audiobooks. Is like, if you're listening to it, you're only retaining about 5%. If you're reading it, you're retaining about 10%. If you're listening to it while you read, you're retaining about 20%. That's why you said that on the last podcast. You said you do that, where you'll read the book along with listening to it.
I don't know. I think it helped. Well, I did that with Jocko's book, Extreme Ownership.
Yeah, well, it fucking does help.
So maybe it is true.
Yeah, well, Alex Hormozy was the one that I learned that from and told you about the listening. Okay. I remember when you started doing that.
Yeah.
I remember telling you about that.
So demonstrate. So
listening and demonstrating was 30% retention. And that's the only one I'm kind of confused on, but I believe that that's like a seminar, a teacher, like you're having like some interactive kind of like experience with it. So you're not just like reading
because they have
writing it.
Because they have teach on here. So
yeah, but it's you are getting taught too. Yeah, I think it's you're getting taught too. So it's like you got a teacher that's explaining something and like breaking it down for you.
Oh, you think that's what teach is, 90%?
No. That's why demonstrate. That's what I think demonstrate is. Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's like you're having an interactive.
Someone's demonstrating it to me.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't pay attention any meetings, so
yeah,
it doesn't apply to me. Just kidding. I listen to every meeting.
Yeah.
I could recite them.
Yeah, so then the next level of the pyramid, so the top would have been listening 5%, read 10, listen and read 20%, demonstrate 30%. Then we got discuss as 50% retention. So that's podcasting. So that's talking about what you've learned.
Talking about it. Yep. Yes, and I agree 100% with that. That's like telling jokes. If you tell a joke out loud, if you hear a joke, like this makes total sense to me because I'm not, whatever. I'm not going to say that, but when I retell the joke, I can keep it like in my mind better.
Yep.
Way better than if I just hear the joke and then be like, oh, I'm going to tell this joke later. Nope, messed up. If I tell the joke out loud, even just to like nobody, I can retain it better. So I don't know. I believe that.
That's a thing. There's, oh gosh, I don't, There's, you have short-term memory and you have short-term memory, you have long-term memory, and there's techniques and ways that you can take what you're learning and get it into your long-term. And so that's like, there's a method with studying, and it's called the 3R method, which is read, recite, review. So you read through it, you recite it, and then you review it. I think that's what the acronym is. And the point of that is like the reiteration of it in the different ways. It like takes it from ideally it takes it from your short term to your long term. Because what the fuck happens like most of the time you're reading, especially a textbook, is like you read it and then it's gone, or like you read it, you retain it enough to take the test, and then it's fucking gone, and what you're talking about is that's an actual, it's a thing. It's a real thing. Like talking it out loud, practicing it out loud. And that's like part of why listening and reading is more retention than just listening by itself or reading by itself. Cause it's like, you're reading it. So you're like reading it with your eyes. You're also hearing it. And then like you're, you could read it out loud too at the same time. Like, that wouldn't fucking work. That'd be weird. So then you're speaking it too. Yeah. So you're kind of like speaking it out. So you could like hit all of the fucking,
I notice when I'm reading a book, if I just read it in my head, but if I read it out loud, it sinks in a little better. So maybe it's a thing.
That's a thing too. Yeah, for sure.
Probably the same as listen and read.
Yep, I bet. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I wonder what that is, the percentage. Yeah. So anyway,
All right, what's the
discuss
next one?
so podcast 50%, and then we got applying it. So that's like taking what you learned and actually like making the
Doing
change
it.
or implementing it into your life. Yeah, whatever it is, forming
Yeah.
the habit. Applying it um, is 75% retention, and then teaching it is 90% retention, and that's real. Like once you
Yeah.
can teach things, and that's why as an athlete, as a coach, as a player, like it's always good if your players are coaching too. Like it's never a bad thing. Like
Hmm.
always, any coaches out there that are coaching any if you're coaching college or high school, even like getting your players to coach when they can, coaching younger kids, like that's gonna help them tremendously on the field, like in their game, because it's like a podcast. Like you have to take your ideas and put them outside of you and for someone else to retain and understand. So you
Yeah.
gotta like really put shit together. Yeah, got a lot of advice, but I
Oh, that's great.
fucking take more of it myself.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do. So,
Yep. Yep.
not on the podcast, but in life, taking
Yeah.
them actions.
Yeah, man.
So, well, yeah, we could talk about that. What actions? What do you think we? So it's been 1 week. We kind of set up this podcast. I feel like we did sign up for that wholesaling class. I feel like that was a positive action.
Yep.
Um, I feel like we did a lot of things last week, like the whole raking and getting the yard ready. Like those are all positive actions that we took that we probably didn't credit ourselves for accomplishing at all. Probably just like, oh, we got to do. I mean, I could be speaking for myself, but
Yep.
like we had to do it. We did it. That's still better than not doing it, you know. So
Yeah.
we checked off a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, man.
I went to a new grocery store and found the dill pickle chips I ate all last night.
Yeah.
Dude, those are
They're the
good.
best flavor that we found so far.
Yeah, by
Little
far.
backstory. This is
That's an
funny. Like,
action. That's a
yeah.
positive action.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
grew up eating dill pickle chips, but it was
Oh,
a specific brand, Old Dutch dill pickle chips. And that's like a staple of every fucking special Friday or Saturday night. Like it was like get movies or get a new video game or whatever it was, and get dill pickle chips and pop. Yeah, just just go hard. Sometimes
yeah.
we'd each get our own bag, and like
Yeah.
yeah, it was a big staple of our childhood. So and moving down to Charlotte, there is no Old Dutch potato
No
chips.
old
There's no Old
Dutch.
Dutch anything. So
Yeah. And
there's no
all
Old
those,
Dutch dill pickle chips, so I've tried fucking 10 different. I'm probably around 10. I feel like I'm
yeah.
about 10 different brands and flavors,
I believe it.
and yeah, those are probably the closest. Closest. We talk about the important
Little
shit here, you know.
Lindell. I know. We're just
Lindell,
trying to
yeah,
get sponsored.
German
If we
Aldi.
could, yeah, it was Lindl, I think.
Yep,
It's like an oldie, but better because they have better dill pickle chips.
yep, yep.
Yeah, fuck Aldi. Just kidding, Aldi.
No. Aldi's great.
Oh, they're gonna be super offended when they listen to this.
Yeah, I know, man. They're gonna lose like a whole half
Yeah,
customer.
yeah. But
Yep.
yeah, no, we did some things.
Yeah.
I think in the positive for sure.
Yep.
I don't know. I texted you like a list of things we got to check off. And that list kind of changed though. But I think number
Yep.
one still is to get this podcast squared away, the socials,
Yeah.
description,
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. We got to figure out our logo. Right now, the logo is some AI image. It was the
Yeah.
only one that spelled it wrong. Or
Yeah.
spelled it
All
right.
right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Spelled it
Yeah. I
right.
looked up There is the Middleweight podcast exists.
I know.
But
I saw some Twitters and stuff.
Yeah, they
But it's
haven't
like
done.
Buddhist though, or something. I thought.
Yeah, so yeah, I think the middle way is like I think it's is rooted in Buddhism. I think
Yeah.
that's where like the idea, the concept. I heard it from my friend Theo. that's Theo Bennett. That's like he's like a mentor of mine, one of my best friends. Old Kiwi dude, from New Zealand guy. It's awesome. He's not old. He's older than me. he's like I think he's 20 years older than me, but he's a
Nice.
big mentor, like very awesome dude. That's who explained that to me, and that's where the idea came from. I've thought of that name for like 3 years, 4 years now, probably. That was a while ago. We talked
Yeah.
about that, and it just made sense then, and
We're not.
makes sense
We're
now.
not though. So we're just middle way.
Yeah, and it didn't look like they did anything for the last like year at least. And they had like 20,000 views on one of their videos, but but it was like one fucking video, so
Slightly more than us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Keep saying it. Someday it'll be real.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But yeah, it reminds me of a quote. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying it was a week of struggles, and then we did some good things. Though,
Yeah,
we have to remind ourselves about
progress in some ways, for sure. The fact we're doing this the second time, like we made it over the hump of one.
Yeah. I think talking about some of our actions that we take every week be a good thing.
That's important. Yeah. That's a quote that reminds me of a quote, Alex Hormozi quote. The more you measure, the more you can win. So it's like we're very good at analyzing our weaknesses, very good at focusing on our to-do list, our what what next, like everything, like always focus but we're very good at focusing on everything we need to do, and not very often we take the time to reflect on what we have done. And it's important to acknowledge that, because as humans, like we fiend for growth, like we want to feel like we're making progress. And the best way to do that is to take account of it. Like when we stay consistent with this in a year's time, when we go back and look at this, like we'll be able to notice growth. And that's important, that we do that.
Yes.
Because we need to reward ourselves, like you need to feel that good feeling. Otherwise you just it's shit on top of shit, man. And like, yeah. So that's also something that a lot of athletes struggle with. It's probably one of the biggest things with transitioning out of sport. Like I've worked with like a solid group of Olympic athletes, like fortunately, and like the common thread, like it's a very common thread of struggle where you go from this very structured, very goal orientated, everything is decided. Like you have a schedule for everything. Your workout, you have a coach for everything. Everything is scheduled. All your goals are set. The trials are coming up. That leads into Olympics or whatever the fucking next thing is. And then you retire, and then you transition into the career field. And there's none of that. There's no metrics. There's no measurement. There's no like goals. So you're fucking could be doing more than you've ever done, but you're not measuring it. So you don't feel like you are. And it fucks with you, man. Like very, very hard.
Yeah.
The amount of people, dude. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was just going to say that there is that, but it's not comparable to like the sports and everything that you're just talking about. Because I wouldn't say that you can measure. There's a lot of ways to measure all that kind of stuff, but not the same as sports at all. Like I think that's what you're saying.
That's the point. Is like you can measure, but you have to do it. Totally Whereas different. Like when you're like a pro athlete, a lot of times everything's decided for you. Your coach makes the schedule. You have an athletic trainer that does the warm up. All you gotta do is show up and fucking do the work. Like it's beautiful. Like I wish I appreciated it more when I was there. But like fuck, man. Like, yeah, you don't have to, and they'll give you goals. Like we got our goal. Like they gave us a fuck sheet, like a review, and this is what you need to work on. So it was like it took all of the journaling, all of the work out of it. And that's the point, is like we need to implement some of that shit into our lives. And it's applicable for everyone. It's not just athletics is just my realm that I understand and resonate with the most. But it's everyone. It's the same shit. Like how good are you at creating, how good are you at thinking? Just ask yourself, how good are you at thinking about all of the shit you need to do?
Yeah.
And then like ask yourself, how often do you think about all the shit that you've done? Fucking never.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I was just going to say, we have a ton of shit to do.
Yeah.
But we didn't really realize all the shit that we just did.
Yep.
But, I don't like, it's hard because I want to say that, but then I'm also like, well, we do have a lot of shit to do. Like,
yeah.
So it's
don't want to get complacent.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
man.
a lot of traps, man. A lot of traps in this thing. A lot of thinking traps.
So what do you think about our next episode? What do you think we should do?
I don't know. I think you brought up our origin stories. Like, I think it's probably important that we're just two random fucking guys talking until we tell people who we are.
Yeah, we kind of just jumped into it rather than, I think it would be good even for ourselves just to remind us where we are exactly right now at this date, like how we got to this point. Because then from that point on is just our story of how we got better and our progress and everything.
Yep.
But if nobody knows that, the whole,
we're just two dudes.
If somebody ever wants to watch this, but down the road, I think it'll be great to look back at this for sure, no matter what.
Yeah, man.
Is what we're 2 podcasts in. What is the stat of like 23 or something? After that, they quit.
It's 21. Yeah.
21.
Dude, I think I wrote it down somewhere, but
either way, it's 20
it's
something.
Like if you make it to 21 episodes, you are in the top 5% of podcasts ever. And there's like, I don't know if it's 6 million or 60. I can't remember. Like, I'm remembering the stat wrong, but there's a fucking crazy amount of podcasts, but there's a crazy amount. It's like 3 episodes, it drops off significantly, like more than 50% or 75%. I wish I had the stats on hand, but yeah, like making it 21 episodes is like the golden episode of like, we made it to the top fucking, 5%, which is still 600,000 fucking podcasts, but whatever. Like, that's important. Milestones are important. That's a word I say weird. I'm very conscious of that right now.
Is there anything else you kind of want to touch on today, or
one more quote? Good. I like this. I feel good. I feel like I could just go forever. I think.
Yeah, I know you could.
When we do that someday in the future. Like, that's why I like Jocko's podcast, man. Sometimes, like, they just go, dog. Like, and no excuses. They don't take a fucking break. Right. Like, I feel like they do take a break. They just cut it really well or something. But but yeah, one quote to leave you with, and I think it resonated a lot. I heard it this week. It was Alex Hormozi. Again, very good at distilling complex things and putting them very fucking blatant and simple. But the quote is, "No one is afraid of failing. They're afraid of what other people will think of them when they fail. If they are afraid of that, imagine what those other people think of you when you're not even trying. Well, the reality is they aren't." Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Should I read it twice? Like, what's the process with that?
But, no, I think you hit it.
Yeah, I just thought it was a fucking cool quote because it hits like the no one's afraid of failing. Like, That's so true. Like, you're just afraid of other people judging you for failing. You know, everyone
Yeah.
knows they fucking need to fail. How many fucking successful people like you hear talk about? Like, I
Say
failed my
that
way to success. I
constantly.
failed. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's but everyone's a fuck afraid to do it. Like, it's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a contradiction. Like, all the time. And but then the point he makes at the end is like if they are afraid of that, so if you're afraid of failing, imagine what other people would think of you when you're not even trying. They wouldn't
Yeah.
fucking think
They
of you.
don't.
So if people are judging you for failing, that means you're fucking making progress and you're doing things right. Like, that means you're doing
Right.
something right. You're making movement. You're fucking having an impact. Whatever.
Right.
Like,
Right.
so yeah, don't be afraid to fail. Like, that's like the root of it. Like, it's fuck. Like, with anything, the hardest part is getting started. All these cliche quotes are fucking real. Like,
Yeah.
stoicism is still a thing that applies today. 2,000 years ago, people were talking about shit. The Bible, like there's everything. Like, these are not new things, you know. It's just how can we simplify them and actually implement them? Because
Yeah.
now we're living in this world of influx of information where we have so much fucking shit that it's like, how do you decide? You know, and that's something we need to figure out. Like, how do we get you working out? How do we get, you know, like the
Yeah.
shit you mentioned, you know, like how do I get me fucking not slipping into depression and not fucking allowing myself to do that when I know what I'm doing? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like what are those actionable steps? What does that look like?
Yeah.
And yeah,
It's a great quote.
yeah,
It's great. Makes you think hard on a lot of things. And yeah. I know a
yep,
big problem of mine is always worrying what other people think of me. Like, that's always been a huge issue for me. So
yep.
they
Ditto.
don't they don't really think of you at all. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like that's been proven so many times. Social experiments and stuff. People just go and do random stupid things. People, they're so wrapped up in their own head. You know,
yep.
they don't care. Yeah, it's a struggle of mine for sure. It's one of them. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
ditto. Same. It's been fucking struggle probably most of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that
Yeah,
just being conscious of is important. Important. Yeah, I say that. Important. Important.
very important.
Yeah.
No, I feel like it has been good. And be honest, I'm getting tired now.
Yep. Me too,
not
man.
not
Yeah, it's
to
been a long day.
not to end it, but I have had a long day today. So
Yeah,
on
that's
that, but I
important.
think this was very good. It was fun again. It's always fun. So it's
Yep.
always good to talk, especially we I don't know, hit on a lot of good things. So and I think this is just gonna get better. So hold on to your seats, folks.
Woo! Stick with us,
Gotta
folks.
get
There's more to come.
I hate that word, folks.
Folks. Yeah.
Folks. I never say
Yeah.
that.
Folks, y'all,
Ladies and gentlemen. No,
ladies. Yeah. We got to come up with a sign off, apparently.
yeah.
Yeah, you want to
Don't
be
give
that?
up.
Yeah.
We do have to come up with a sign off.
Yeah.
Just don't give up ever.
Don't give up. Yeah, man. Yeah. I guess, yeah, just leave it with closing thoughts. Just keep chipping away, man. That's all it is. I think that's the toughest part about this whole thing is stay off social media when you can. If you go on it, be intentional. You know,
Hmm.
like otherwise you're going to be judging yourself, whether you
Yeah.
believe you are or not, subconsciously. Like, that's the whole programming. We are all fucking insecure and like, you know, shy or like worried about what other people think because that's the fucking programming that keeps you buying shit, that keeps you in a scarce minded state. So you keep consuming and supporting these fucking whatever. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
on another tangent, but that's
Oh, that was a
it.
good one.
Yeah,
Don't cut
that's
yourself
it. So
off.
just yeah, I just don't, you know, just that's the whole existential thinking, bro. Like, I can bring everything back to just the fucking like we are not meant to be miserable and anxious and fucking the way it's so normalized. Sick, anxious, depressed, that's normal. Like you're fucking crazy if you're happy these days. Like if you see a happy person, like a person walk around smiling, like that's a fucking outlier. Like it's wild and it shouldn't be that way, you know, and it doesn't have to be. And it takes this type of shit. Like these are little battles that we got to keep fighting, like keep communicating, keep talking about the hard shit, reach out, set intentional conversations.
Yeah.
Like that's the key. Like don't just talk, like take some time in that talk to get real. Talk about your struggles, talk about what you need help with, ask for help, ask for ownership, you know, ask someone to keep you accountable. All these little things, man. That's what this is. Climbing a mountain, man. You can't climb a mountain by fucking looking at the peak the whole time. It's one step in front of the other. Like
yeah. I believe it. Believe
Sweet.
it too before you see it.
Believe it before you see it.
Yeah.
Law of attraction. It's a real thing.
All right.
That's what this is.
I'd like to thank our sponsors, Lindo Dill Pickle Chips.
Yep. Yingling.
Yingling. And this t-shirt.
Yeah. This is a Carhartt hat.
Burlebo and Carhartt. These are great t-shirts. These are the best shirts I've ever had my entire life. I'm not going to lie.
That's dope. That's big.
Yeah.
That's fucking huge, man. Yeah.
Small company too. So anyways.
I'm wearing a shirt
I'm not gonna
of someone else's. Yep.
All right, everybody. We'll see you. We'll talk to you in a couple seconds. Bye.
Yep.